As promised, I'm just showing you the Expo documentation for their map view component real quick. This is the Expo docs, and they do a really good job at showing you how to do everything that you might want to do with React Native with some of their components. This is just an example of how they do their map view, which we'll implement hopefully in this video. Notice it's really short. Map view is just a small component, and immediately you can get a map on screen. It's pretty cool. And then right down here, if you look at it, see full documentation at AirBnB/React Native Maps. So literally, they're using the AirBnB React Native Maps. So like the actual company AirBnB, multi-billion-dollar company, built this open source map system for React Native, and you can use it. And they have some pretty good maps, a pretty good system set up that we'll start taking advantage of. And just a side note, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Airbnb does use React Native for their actual app. So if you ever look at the Airbnb app, maybe you have it downloaded already, that's React Native. So pretty cool that we're using the same technology that they did. So I'm going to close that out now and jump into my code and have my simulator up here. And we're going to start adding in a few things to this screen here. The first thing we want to do is get rid of this text, because there's no reason to have it there anymore. And I'm going to add a little flex style onto my view. So I'll say flex 1, 1, just like that. And we already have all these components imported from Native Base, so we can just get right into it without worrying about importing things. We're going to want to import this header, which we used previously. This is going to be an opening and closing header with quite a few things inside of it. Header is going to take this left component, which is actually going to be empty, and I'll explain why in a minute. And then we want to put this body component in, and we're going to have a title on this body component, which is just going to say Pokemap. So, oops, not get initial state. And this will go right in the center of our header. I want to finish this header out before I save and refresh this. Oops, not body. Pokemap, just like that. So that way you can see everything that we're implementing. And then we want this right here. And inside right, we just want a button on here. So we'll say button, just like this. And we want to add an icon inside of this button, which is going to have a name of power. So it's going to be a little power icon. This is what we'll use to log out when and if we ever want to do that. I'll add a transparent in here, and then we can actually add in the on press a little bit later. First, I'm going to save this, and you'll see the header on screen. So it's a nice little header set up for us. On the left side, so we have nothing there. The reason why I left the left component out like that is because if you get rid of it, the styling kind of gets off sometimes, and this title might slide over depending on how you styled the header, and then maybe whether or not you're on Android or iOS. But this icon for the power, which we'll use to like log out, is sitting pretty nice, perfect, right exactly where we want it to be. All right, so right after this header, we can go ahead and add in our map view, which we already imported. So pretty easy. Map view is it can be self-closing, as we showed in that example on Expo's documentation, but we're going to want to put some markers in it later, so we're going to open map view up. And really right now we just want to add in some props to map view to just get it on screen so we can see it. So the first thing you want to do is add in a style prop, and this is just going to take a flex 1, so we don't have to break it off. And then we want to add in this prop built into the map view called initial region. You're going to need this prop in order to tell the map like where to center at to start the map off. And this is going to take an object, and we'll just kind of tab it out like this. We could tie this to the state or have this information somewhere else, but this is not going to be a massive component, and really we just want to be in one location right now, so we'll leave it like this. I'm going to tie the longitude and latitude to San Francisco, because that's where Airbnb has the maps located just naturally. Personally, I live in Chicago, and I could put in like longitude, latitude. I think it's negative 8742, but I'm not going to do that. It doesn't really matter here. You can have the same longitude and latitude as me, or you can figure out wherever you live and put the longitude and latitude numbers in there and play around with it. Totally up to you, but I am going to set us up in beautiful San Francisco here. So latitude, did I spell that right? Yes, latitude, and this is going to take 37.78825, comma, longitude, like that, and this is going to take negative 122.4324. And then there's two more props in here, which I came from web development programming originally when I was doing React, and I remember playing with Google Maps and stuff, and it just took longitude and latitude. So when I first encountered this latitude delta, longitude delta stuff, I didn't really quite get it. But basically, this is kind of setting up how you want to set up the screen. So I'm just going to put a latitude delta in at 0.0922. So this is how far out the screen is basically, and AirBnB has a good system set up for it. So the 0.09 and the 0.04 with longitude here is a pretty good height, but you can set it to whatever you want. 0.00421 is what we want there, and then we'll save that and just see what we get on here. And pretty nicely, we get a nice big map, which is taking a second to load in. A nice big map on screen, which is great. We barely did anything. All we did was import the component and then give it a region, and we have a big, beautiful map on screen, taking up the entire screen. So this is pretty great. There's a lot of other work we got to do with the map to make it really awesome, and then we got to add in some markers for the Pokemon and stuff later. But we'll take care of that in another video. This one's getting kind of long, so hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is pretty cool because we have a map on screen. So see you later.